Good morning. I think. Has anybody ever really reflected why they're in the Philippines and also reflected on why is there so many, well, just straight out losers that are moving into this country? I was listening to I don't know, I can't find his channel. Now it's Jasper International or International Jasper. Maybe he changed his name. But I didn't realize how many people are doing shows after him. Um, Look, I'm not familiar with every loser that has a YouTube show in the Philippines, but you don't have to have a YouTube show to be a loser. Now, what brought this on? Well, I got up a couple of times this morning. Dogs were in the room. Doesn't take much to wake me up. Um, so I was up actually a lot earlier than now. A lot early. I think I got up at about 4 o'clock. Didn't go to bed late. I went to bed about 9:30 or something like that. So I got my 6 full hours in. Right, it's about usual for me. No matter what time I go to bed, I get 6 hours. Don't seem to matter. It's crazy. Do a lot of thinking. You know, I hear so much crap about the Philippines all the time, and it's love it or leave it. It's one of those things. Paul did a show, and of course, his clickbait almost sounded like he wanted to move out of the Philippines. But Paul in the Philippines with his clickbait that he's so famous for. And of course, he talked about the. I'm just using Paul in this too because it's really a conglomeration of a lot of people out here that seem to have a lot of gripes with the Philippines. Some of it is valid, and some of it is, well, their own mistakes and so forth. But like with Paul, between his bad land deal and this guy he got ripped off with a lot of money from. Look, here's the deal. Look, here's the deal with the Philippines. It's kind of a it's kind of a love it or leave it type of place. Is the best way I could explain it. Yes, there is an incredible bureaucracy out here. There is. It's just incredible bureaucracy. And sometimes it gets to a point that you'd be afraid to buy a property or a piece of land because you don't know who the hell owns it. And what Paul went through and the contractor and the scams this guy was doing, it's so widespread that you got to be afraid to buy a piece of land or something out here because who's really on the title and a lot of people got caught up in that situation. And I'm hearing this a lot. It You have to be in the Philippines for a while. Uh, well, it doesn't take long, but it takes longer to figure out that hey, look, you made a choice to live in a developing country, and as being a developing country, the infrastructure, of course, is not going to be perfect, and but you got to know what you're getting into when you get here. I mean, for a lot of people who, example, they sell the farm, whatever expression, in their home country, and they come out here for a woman, which is the usual case. But they don't really take other things into consideration, and they don't really experience these things unless you've been living out here for a while. I've tolerated a lot out here. I got to tell you that I really have. Um, but still, you have to have an understanding. about the country that nothing is going to work fast. Okay, we could take you a couple of hours at best to accomplish at some governmental office or something. Uh, well, could take a month to get something done, or uh, something. Okay, some I want to talk about some of the gripes that I've been listening to, such as how people will get in front of you in line, just go right in front of you in a line. That's true. That's true. These are like minor things. Uh, yeah, they'll get in front of you in a line. There's no doubt about that. Let's see. As a foreigner, they will assume that you have a lot of money. That's not always true with everybody out here. Uh, as a foreigner, you can be in danger because of your skin color. Figuring that, you're Mr. Bucks. You can be taken advantage of by workers. You could be taken advantage at the markets. There's a Filipino price and there's a foreigner price. With all that being said, I mean, there's so many bugaboos out here, but you got to understand something. It is a developing country, and there's a lot of poor people out here. And they look at foreigners in a way that's sometimes it's envious. Sometimes they get a little pissed off. The guys that the Americans are coming here, well, foreigners, let's call foreigners, are coming here and they're taking all their women. There's a lot of undulating things that are going on that a lot of people don't see. Um, a lot of people say you can't trust a Filipino, period. That's kind of a blanket statement, because I think these days, who can you trust anyway? And to narrow it down on the Philippines is kind of unfair. But um, the cultural thing out here is that, well, it's not your culture. And that's the first thing you got to understand, that it's not your culture. I've been hearing so many videos where people are downing the Philippines left and right, left and right. Well, then you have to make a conscious choice to stay there or get the fuck out. That's what it comes down to. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Uh, I am out here long enough that I do realize the bugaboos, I always call it bugaboos, of living in the Philippines. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But you make that choice to be out here, and usually it's a woman. And that was why I'm out here. You know, I didn't move out here because I thought it was the ideal temperature for me. I don't really like extremely hot and humid weather. But you make allowances for some of these bugaboos, okay? You set a goal and you go for your goal. Uh, since when I first came out here, a lot of things developed. I went from renting to owning a home. Uh, and it's been now 9 years of the same relationship with the same woman. Um, I've been able to persevere the bureaucracy. And as far as trusting people, I don't, by nature, trust anybody other than my own mate. And I always make a rule of that. Because understand something in this country, you're probably hearing like a back and forth here. And you're probably saying, are you positive about this country or are you negative about this country? I am both. I am both. Um, I don't think it's a bad place, but the thing is, if you don't understand the culture, you're not going to cope with it very well. And that's why people wind up moving out. You got to spend the time to understand the culture. If you're going to live in a gated community, for example, and I've seen this in Hawaii, where mainlanders came over and they didn't want to mesh with the locals. No, they didn't want to absorb the local culture unless it was the arts or something or some highbrow. with lots of money that would move to the Philippines, excuse me, to move to Hawaii, and but they just didn't want to associate with these nasty, what they're thinking, nasty Hawaiians. They're not all nasty. There's an attitude out there, but there's an attitude everywhere. But they would go and live in a gated community, and they would look down on the locals all the time, look down on them with their nose. Now, here in the Philippines, poverty is widespread. People are trying to live and survive, and sometimes they do some things that are maybe not very nice, taking advantage of other people. You know, that happens all the time, whether you're at a market and they see that you're white skinned and they charge you maybe just a little bit more than they would charge a local. There's a lot of bugaboos about the Philippines, but you have to decide how much of the bugaboos can you really take, or do you want to deal with and, accept. Now, Philippines as itself is not a bad country to live in. Speaking English, at least they have the second language of English, which is a big plus. And yes, the people are really friendly out here. There's no doubt about that. But the other side, there's an ugly side to everything. People are friendly unless you piss them off. Unless you piss them off. And you're saying, wait a minute, I thought these people are really friendly. But, you know, they're like any other country. You piss somebody off, you're going to get adversity and all that. And it happens out here a lot. I mean, besides the smiling faces and gives you shirt off your back type people that they are, and they are caring people, you're always going to have an element that's exactly the opposite. I mean, I just, I guess I'm trying to say is I get so tired of people hearing about talking about how bad the Philippines is. Um, it's not a bad place if you make it a good place for you and you accept to the best you can their culture, even though there is a lot of bugaboos in the culture that maybe doesn't mesh with how you were raised in your life in Western culture. It is different. I will tell you, it is drastically different in so many ways. I'm always learning more and more things. Gossip, for example, is extreme in the Philippines. And if I'm not mistaken, I think um, what actually got incorporated in the Philippines? What started off in the Philippines? Was it the Philippines is supposed to be the biggest country as far as social media and things like that. Everybody and their kids has a phone out here, and no matter how poor they are, they got a phone and they got the money to put the data and loads on them. And you think to yourself, okay, you got a lot of struggling people, but they always seem to afford a cell phone. A lot of things make you scratch your head about the Philippines, but if you stay focused and you know allow yourself to be part of the culture and understand it, that will make it more tolerable for you. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I see, and I haven't talked about Jasper in a while. Um, this is kind of a mixed uh, s- stream I'm doing here. That's kind of intermixing my different thoughts about the Philippines or the people that move here, what they experience and what to expect, and of course the bugaboos. But there are good points too. But a lot of people these days seem to be emphasizing the bad all the time. Let's face it, you probably moved here for one or two reasons. Okay. You needed a change in your life, and it was a good place to come where you want to stretch your retirement checks. And the second, of course, if not the first, should be is because probably you want to find a woman. Now, some people move out here for the wrong reason as far as women. I mean, they want to come out here. They put a notch on their belt, because they just couldn't get these women in the country that they came from. A lot of them were nerds. A lot of them were losers. A lot of losers. A lot of them just couldn't make it, not only financially, but socially in the country they came from. They were social misfits. And I'm finding that there are so many social misfits out here. You could lose count if you were able to count them. They come here sometimes for the wrong reasons, and then they get miserable being out here. They come out here thinking they're going to find women in bliss and happiness. And because, people put YouTube shows on and they try to promote the Philippines through their perspective, through their eyes. And people will live vicariously through people's videos. And they're going to show people with all these activities they're doing and how fun it is in the Philippines and all these women you're going to get. And it entices people. And they say, okay, I'm going to move out here. Well, you see, a lot of people who put shows on are trying to present or kind of exaggerate, a little hyperbole, exaggerate their lives. These are retirees, and they're trying to exaggerate their lives. Oh, what a great time I'm having out here. I'm getting all these women. But it's not always the case. It's a big facade for a majority of these people who come out here with these expectations where they're going to be able to mesh with the culture, and they just can't. And they're going to bitch and whine about the lines at the bank, the lines at the machine, people getting in front of them in line. Yes, this all happens. This all happens. Well, they think they're going to get all these women, but that's not true. They wind up renting a woman. Rent-a dates is what it comes down to. And it's not what they thought it would be. They thought you were going to be a rock star moving out here, and all the women were going to crowd around you. Oh, are you single? I mean, that happens, but it's really not the case. And they sell the farm, you know, they sell the farm expression. They come out here, and it's not what they expected. They start bitching and whining about, the urine smell in the streets, the lack of infrastructure, no sidewalks, the traffic, the pollution, overpopulation, the beggars, the less than honest women that they wind up meeting, and they just get really frustrated. And why did I come out here? But now I can't afford to go back to the country that I came back from. And then they're miserable. Then they're miserable. You have to make or do a lot of research before you come out here. Now, will I say that the Philippines is a perfect place for me to live? Not from my mouth. No, sir. It is not a perfect place, but I'm not well traveled. I've not been to Europe, okay? And I never spent time in many Asian countries other than here, really, except passing through and whatever. But I can't make an assessment of that if this is the best Asian country to live in or country, period. It doesn't have to be Asia, you know. Philippines is, at least 50 years behind, everything from infrastructure to, uh, oh, I don't know, just probably so many damn points on here. They're behind. I mean, even communications and things like that. And you have to understand that this is what you're buying when you move out here. I know you come out here for the women and all that. Sometimes I ask myself, would I stay out here if something happened to my woman, to my girlfriend? Uh, would she be the only reason I came out here? Well, initially, yes. That's why I came out here. But it's just, like I wasn't here before. I've experienced a few women before I met her, and I got screwed over a few times. Absolutely did. But I was the kind of person that said, well, Yeah, I just didn't do the research. I was in too much of a hurry. What happens is, let me tell you about the state of mind with a lot of, like, I know I'm all over the planet here. I'm all over the planet, but this is the way I make my points, okay? My attention deficit disorder, which I'm finding that a lot of foreigners seem to have out here when I listen to their shows, but I'm definitely one of them. I'll admit that. A thought comes to my head and I'll go with it. I try to do something on my show where I can give you a variety of opinions and even topic matter, and I'm very good at segueing from one subject to another, but still making my point. So, what is my point? The Philippines is not for everybody. I'll guarantee that. Don't come out here because you're going to think it's paradise, paradise. I remember saying those exact words, and the Filipino friends I made out here in the beginning when I met this one gal, Vanessa, and we went to Paradise Beach. The bonker boat came in. I was about to get engaged to this woman. What insanity did I go through? What insanity did I go through? And I've only was talking to her for about 6 months. 6 months. Well, that's better than some. But she was attractive. Tiny thing. She was attractive. She had very Spanish, more Spanish blood than Filipina. She was adorable, and she was bubbly and nice personality. But still, it turned out she wasn't for me. I built myself up to a crescendo of where I was like on top of the world, like I was euphoric, like I was taking some kind of LSD or something. I was on this fucking love trip. I was on this, on the love boat. My life came together. Called my brother of God. I'm got engaged, Al. Oh, I'm happy for you, Frank. But meanwhile, I was probably laughing his ass off, you know, knowing that I've been talking to this woman for only 6 months. You know, one month they're going to go engage. But a lot of people get caught up in this shit. And I did too. I absolutely did, man. And then there was one or two others that I was in communication with. I got taken advantage of in a small way. Thank goodness for that. Like some people, they get taken advantage of in a big way, and they put out a lot of money on people. Mine, the worst cost me was like a cell phone or something like that, but and a headset. But some people get taken for a lot of bucks, man. You gotta focus yourself and uh, come out here not particularly for a woman. Well, a couple of things on this, really. If you're not ready to retire, don't come out here for a woman. Don't get emotionally bonded to a woman from your long distance relationship and build up this emotion for her, or maybe, her emotions for you. If you're not ready to retire in the Philippines, it's not going to work. There are people that are maybe still in their 40s and 50s that are developing a relationship with Filipinas. How long do you think they're going to wait for you? And do you think they're going to be faithful to you? It's not going to happen. Lives go on. The same thing, we get into this big shit about, there's so many bugaboos people talk about. Oh, if you're with a married woman, well, there's no divorce out here. Their lives have to go on too, as well as yours. This is a heavy Catholic country. They're not going to allow divorce. They put it up in the Senate, but it doesn't go anywhere because the Catholic Church comes in there and strong arms them. So there's a lot of women out there that you think are single, but they really are married. They're just not going to tell you. You got to think about that. How is your opinion? If you met somebody that you fell in love with, are you going to care if they are not divorced? It's not that they don't want to be divorced, that they can't. And they would rely on a foreigner to get that annulment because they will usually not have the money to do that. Gary, remember the GAC, his girlfriend wanted to get out of her situation of her marriage, and Gary had to pay for that annulment, put it through school and everything. I don't even know if they're together this day. After all he did for her, but understand, you have to make choices when you live out here. Do you love a woman enough that you don't give a shit that she's actually still legally married? There's more than you know out here that are still legally married. Just a fact. Just a fact. Because they can't afford to get an annulment. So I met a woman here, and she's definitely married. And a lot of people look down on that. And I wasn't really happy about knowing that she was actually married. But they've been separated for such a long time. And I fell for her and vice versa. And it became very insignificant to me. And it's insignificant because the good thing is that there's not a problem with the ex. There's not a problem at all. There's no animosity. There's nothing. It's all good. So what are you supposed to do? Leave a woman because she's technically married? That's not the case for me. And I never really planned marriage anyway. I was married once. And I promised myself I would never get married again after that mistake. I'm happy with the status quo. But this is just one example. Okay, you either got to be accepting to the fact that a woman you could meet, she might not be telling you the truth at first. Mine did, but you have to make that choice. Should I run away from this, or do you feel that this person is worth being with? And being totally understanding that there is no divorce in this country. Yeah, it sucks. There's only two places in the world there's no divorce: the Vatican and the Philippines. And why are they so behind? Why is it so, I don't know. Sometimes you think it's dystopic out here. They're just thinking they're ahead of the times, but they're so behind the times in so many ways, such as things like divorce and infrastructure, all this mesh that goes in with the Philippines culture. You will find these situations. You will find women that are even in relationships with somebody when you meet them because they're not telling you the truth. They reeled you in from a dating site. You've probably talked to them for how long? Putting your trust in them, and then what happens? I hear this all the time. You go out there, and some guys actually go to surprise their woman. They come out there, talk to them for a couple of days. They're actually on a trip to the Philippines. I was listening to a story, and they come out there to give a surprise to the Filipina and finds out that, well, it's either not the same person he was talking to, or they have a family and they're married or something. And this was a business they were doing to find guys on the internet and get them emotionally involved with them, send money, all that. How many horror stories have we heard on this? Yes, yes, yes. It's more fun in the Philippines. This goes on in the Philippines. Now, you're either willing to understand this and deal with it, or you're not. And those are decisions you have to make. I feel comfortable out here, to get to the chase anyway. I feel comfortable out here. But you still, no matter how comfortable you feel, you're always going to have periods of time where you're going to get aggravated on something out here. There's always going to be something you're going to get aggravated on. Again, the lines, the bureaucracy, and all that stuff. Or you're going to get kind of disenchanted with how other foreigners come here and they make a lot of us guys who come here with good intent and, make us look bad by their behavior, by how they treat Filipinos or mistreat Filipinos, how they use Filipinos, everything for sex and it goes on, man. And it makes expats like myself look really bad to a lot of Filipinos. You're getting enough jerk-offs moving to this country. It's just radical, man. It is just freaking radical. I mean, look at Jasper in the Philippines, for example. He's a prime example. What's he got? Like almost 60,000 subscribers. The guy is a total fucking loser. Charging fees for, he's an expert on women, but he's never been able to stay with a woman. Maybe he met some women out here, but this guy is charging like an expert, like he's a big expert on the Philippines, charging $75 for consultations. The guy's a complete creep. He's kind of weird looking, and his personality is so distorted. Kind of looks like an Uncle Fester with a little bit of hair. These are the creeps that are moving into this country in droves. In droves, I tell ya. In droves. And it's creeps like this that really give foreigners a bad reputation. Oh, I can name somebody in particular, but I won't get into that. That has really given foreigners a really bad reputation, I don't want to get into that. We've got creepy crawlers everywhere that are coming here. Some of them right here on YouTube that are using and abusing Filipinos all the time. Everything is sex, sex, sex. I want to score. I'm getting old. I want to get all the young ones I can. Some for the bad reasons. Some guys have this thing for, younger girls. And they do. There's been a lot of finger pointing out there saying you're this and you're that when you're not. But some are. Some are. Keep that in mind. Some are. You know what I'm talking about. And they try to hide it. But they come out here for the wrong reasons. See, word gets out. Let's say there was I don't know. I'll give you a crazy example. There was this really kind of a private, kind of a beach area in Hawaii that only the locals knew. But then as the tourists came in and they found it, it used to be this great place where people could, just be themselves, even clothing optional, the well-kept secret in Hawaii. But then everything got out and all these tourists are coming there now. It's just totally ruined the whole ambience of the place. It's a place where these stoners came to get stoned. You'd be smelling it in the air. You'd be, you'd get to see a few chicks shedding off the clothes, which is a turn on to some guys if they were good looking, but you also got the whales that came in there too. I don't mean the ones in the water. It kind of ruined everything. It's kind of like that with the Philippines where, we have to live out here as a foreigner and we want to be respected and revered. And what makes it hard is when you got these creeps that move in here that giving us a bad reputation. And see, here's the thing. The Philippines has been discovered. It wasn't just discovered recently. It's when the military came in back in the days and say in the 40s, let's say American troops came and blah, blah, blah. The whole history of that. And they realized that, oh man, all these cute women out there can get laid real easy. Give them a chocolate bar or some nylons or something, Yeah, they were able to do that. In Vietnam, too, the same thing. You got chocolate bar? Joe? Call everybody Joe. Joe, you have chocolate bar for me. There's some reality to this, okay? Face it, there is reality to this. You've seen the stories or movies or whatever you got it from. That was true. A Joe. Every American was a Joe. Certainly at least in Vietnam or something, I guess. But I don't know if they call them Joes here in the Philippines, But you got to make choices of why you come out here. And if you don't want to deal with the crazy expats out here, don't move in an expat community like, Dumageddon. all the fucking losers seem to gather in Dumageddon, which we like to affectionately call Dumageddon. All they want to do, I'm going to go to Dumageddon because there's a lot of foreigners there. But then they get there and they get to be around all these goddamn expats, and they wind up saying, why the fuck did I move to Dumageddon? They get into battles with them. There's confrontations. A lot of them are on YouTube. They meet each other. They either like each other or they don't, but they bought a house and, they're stuck there and they got to deal with the other expats. The expats are not even happy with themselves in Dumageddon. A lot of them like to purposely meet and they like to instead of really meshing with the locals, all they're doing is meshing with the other expats and they're not really getting deep into the culture. Get into those little corner neighborhoods and the back alleys and see what life is really like, with the culture. And they hang around with each other and they form groups and they meet all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. But then you get every foreigner fucking coming over to Dumageddon of all places. And then it gets a little bit crowded, a little bit too much expats. It's a total expat community. And the idea of moving to a different country is that diversity. You want to be less expats where you decide to move, than there is locals. When you want to move, there's probably more expats than the locals. Then that's going to be an uncomfortable situation after a while. That's just my opinion, of course. But and I never lived in Dumageddon, but I just know from YouTube and everything I hear, the fighting going on and clashes and you know I don't know. It's just fucking crazy, man. It's just crazy. And there seems to be more people fighting and gossiping on YouTube than ever before, forming gossip channels like Philippines Antics, for example. Gossip, 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 gossip. Did you move out here to just gossip? Okay, a good example. She's this extremely overweight lady with lupus and all kinds of medical problems who barely leaves her place. And she has a show every day in Antics, her and her husband, who's kind of a weird dude, George. And they complement each other, though. They absolutely complement each other. But, look, I may be on YouTube a lot. Okay, it's a hobby type thing. It is a way of communicating with people without having to be with them, because I don't really want to personally mesh with foreigners out here, but I don't mind talking to foreigners on my terms, on my phone. It's a big difference, okay? A big difference. Because I don't want to be around a bunch of foreigners. I didn't move out here to be around a bunch of foreigners. I got absorbed into the Philippine culture that I'm still learning today, and I'm never an expert on it. I will never be an expert on the culture here. I'm just experiencing new things as they come along, new attitudes, little nuances, and so forth. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Believe me, there are even situations out here. You could have somebody murdering you, and your neighbor, who's a Filipino, that's supposed to be such good friends. They may not come to intervene. They may not come and help because they don't want to be involved. It happens out here. Somebody could be stabbing you to death, and your good neighbor may know that, and they're like wonderful people, and they're caring, and they're friendly. There's one element that's very known out here. They don't like confrontations. They don't want to get involved with something. You got to think about all this shit. As good as they are, how far will they, go out and give that shirt off their back to you? You'd be surprised. Some will, but some won't. This involvement thing, a lot of people just don't want to be involved. Remember, Filipinos are not confrontational people unless you piss them off, and they will confront you. In general, live your life good out here. Keep your nose clean. You're going to be okay. They're wonderful. And I really haven't had any incidents with Filipinos except one that wants to try to get me fucking deported. That's the only problem I've ever had with a Filipino out here. Yeah. Just one. Just one. And she puts a smile on my face every fucking day, just thinking of what she's trying to fucking do to me. Not a happy camper with her, I can tell you that, and somebody else. Not at all. But you're going to find these little bugaboos out here, okay? You're going to find dishonest people here like anywhere else in the world. There's a lot of dishonest Filipinos out here. Nothing's different than anywhere else in the world. You're going to find good, honest people, and you're going to find some really clearly dishonest people that don't do their culture any good, that doesn't make their culture look good to expats, as well as expats are coming here and not making us look good because of what they do here in the Philippines. It works both ways. Both ways. Nico, you talk such shit about me. Get the fuck off here. Go make love to your grass. Go make love to your grass. Okay, how do I feel? How do you feel? I'm comfortable here. But I have to ask myself, are you comfortable here because you have successfully found, finally, somebody, a Filipina that you actually love and actually loves me back? Imagine that. That really does happen out here. You could find the right one if you're lucky, but a lot of people don't. And a lot of people get together for the wrong reasons because we got guys out there that are just using Filipinas left and right. You know, they don't want to, they come out here with very little money and they go after these Filipinas that have a job and they suck off each tit until the colostrum is gone. Not enough for the baby anymore. Then they suck the milk out of each tit afterwards until the milk is fucking gone. That's what happens out here with some of these foreigners. They come out here to live the dream, but generally, a lot of them are coming out here because they're running away from something. They're running away. They're not running toward. They're running away from something. I could name names, but I think you know who they are. I think you know exactly who they are. They come out here for the wrong reason. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this shit up is because I spent a little time, kind of got myself a little bit diversified on what I was listening to on YouTube. And I've been gathering in my mind some of the shows that I've seen where people are just tearing apart the Philippines, you know, and they're talking about the dangers and everything else. And they're talking about what bad expats do. But these are the same guys that are doing the same shit that they're talking about. You know, it's just ridiculous. The fact is, you know, it's always bothered me. What's bothered me, I really hate it when the expats come out here, they use and abuse these Filipinos. I really hate it. They take advantage of them because they are very naive, they are very gullible, they are very romantic and emotional, and they fall in love real easy, and they believe you. It isn't until they fuck you over, until they realize that, this is not the man for them, and they promise these Filipinos the sun, the moon, and the stars just to get in their pants. That's what it is. It's unfortunate that happens, but look, I'm not saying it just happens here, but it's really very predominant here. It's make promises. I can give you this and give you that, give you a baby, give you a house, just to get in their pants. Big Head used to do that all the time. That was his whole MO, Big Head. That's what he did. He made promises like that. I'll give you this and that, just to get in their pants and then, slip out the back, Jack, and never come back. That's what it was, and that's what happens out here a lot. That's what pisses me off about the foreigners that come out here. They come out here for the wrong fucking reason. We all need changes in our life, and everything that's going on, like in the world now, and America is so fucked up right now. Oh God, how prices have been jacked up on food and housing and everything. Nobody could afford to live there anymore. And there's people moving in, they want to come in to get the good life in America. And that was the whole idea. And they want the picket fence and a house too. And they want to live the American way and get their green card. And it's not like that anymore. I mean, not that, it's just that Trump is, attacking all the immigrants, illegal immigrants, which I'm not saying that what he's doing is a bad thing. It takes jobs away from Americans. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that too. The legal immigrants should not be picked on either, though, but they're being looked down on too. They got families they're trying to take care of too, but some people just assume and are being harassed by other people too. Maybe they're Mexican and is thinking, oh, you probably are an illegal immigrant here, aren't you? When they're not, when they're actually very legal. So there's a lot of stereotyping and finger pointing going on too with that. Just like anything that happens with something happened bad with China. We blamed China on the COVID and all that stuff. Whether it's true or not, it came from China. It came from China or not. But there were people that were picking on Chinese people. Anything in politics, they were having. How about the Japanese internment camps in America? Okay, when at war with Japan, and if you were Japanese and you were born in America, and you every right to be there, and uh, every right to be in America, and you are an American citizen, but because you were Japanese, they were putting people in internment camps or something. This world is so fucked up. Let's just face the fact. This world is fucked up. Just face it. It's not getting any better. And you got dictators like Trump in the office. He's going to fuck everything over for everybody. Yeah. Hold on to your Social Security checks, people, because that might be a change too. Who knows? He wants to get rid, and they've done a great job of it so far under his last administration, get rid of the middle class, just make it poor and rich. So the rich have more power over the poor. That's what Trump stands for. That's what all these fucking Republicans stand for. These are people with money generally that are Republicans in general. They think by voting for a Republican, their life is going to be wonderful. But you got a dictator now that has become a president. A dictator. A fucking dictator. A dick and a dictator. And he hasn't been in office very long. And he's proven how much of a dictator he is. Thinking, I could buy Canada. Or maybe get, Elon Musk to buy it for him. Because Elon Musk has more money than him. Elon Musk is his new boyfriend. His new boyfriend. The good thing, though, that you'll be happy about is Elon Musk can never run for president because he was not born in this country. I guess he does not have citizenship for U.S., whatever. So thank goodness for something. Okay. Power. Power. This is what people are looking for. Power. You decided to vote for Trump. Watch how things are going to change. I've said this a long time ago. For people who supported this creep, and the same guy who actually, he's the one that kind of excited the crowd to go take the Capitol, that he emphatically denies. People, creepos and freakos with fucking Viking hats on and painted faces entered the Capitol. This is what society is coming down to, man. Society is fucked up. I don't blame him for getting out of America. America is probably one of the most fucked up countries there is. Of course, if you're rah-rah, you've been in the military and you're waving the flag, I'm fighting for my country. I stick up for my country. That's fine. That's fine. But your country is deteriorating now. It's not what it used to be when I grew up. It's not the same place. I don't recognize the United States anymore. I don't recognize it. I don't recognize the town I grew up in. I don't recognize. Oh yeah, Big Head was incredible, wasn't he? God, that guy was... you want to go after people on YouTube? Go after the right people. Like that idiot Jasper. That guy, you want to pick a target? Don't just pick any target. Don't be like Rand. Go after the people that need to be going after. If you're that vindictive and you really want to go after somebody, pick the right people. Pick the right people. Jasper in the Philippines has one good example I mentioned earlier. This creep's gotta go. I'm really surprised nobody has beat the living snot out of him yet. That is the worst, one of the worst examples of expats to come into this country. One on a list, and I have my own list, but one on the list of the worst expats. The guy, you want to talk about being narcissist? You want to talk about being cocky? You want to talk about being rude? You want to talk about being disrespectful to the Philippine culture and the Filipinas? He's your target. Go after the right people. Don't just randomly pick somebody. Oh, okay, yeah, he said this. Okay, let's go after him and let's harass this guy and whatever. Pick the right people. Pick the proper creeps. I could name a lot of names, but I'll just bring up Jasper for now. I don't even watch this show. But apparently nothing has changed. And there's a lot of people that don't like this guy. Don't like this guy at all. And I could understand why. I know enough about him, and I could understand. I've seen what he looks like, what he acts like, his whole disposition. This guy should have a big red target on him. If anybody should, it should be him. Absolutely. Hold on a minute. Wow, quite a rant this morning, but good one. A damn good one. I like to tell people how it really is and how I really feel. I don't sugarcoat anything on my show, right, Popeye? I don't sugarcoat it about you either. I don't sugarcoat shit. I tell you like it is. Is this the perfect country? I don't know, man. Beautiful place. I wouldn't like the weather in Switzerland, but Switzerland's a beautiful place. Spain. Oh my God, Spain. Boy, that could be something. Spain is an absolutely beautiful country. Gorgeous country. And I know a tiny bit of Spanish, but not much. But of all the choices you can make, it usually starts because you met a Filipino online or something, and that's how you wound up here. But then you got these people, as I said, were planning to come out here. They're not even retired yet. And it's not worth it if you're not retired or have a pension at least, because you think a Filipino's going to wait till you're 62? Okay. If you're not the retirement age or you don't have a pension, you're going to drag this chick on for how many years? How many people have done that? I've heard many cases on here. They're still not even in the country. They come to see the Filipino maybe a couple of weeks out of the year when they have their vacation time. And then they leave her hanging out here, which is not fair. And who's to say that she's just hanging? People get lonely, you know what I mean? They're not going to tell you what they're doing while you're gone. You're taking chances. Why take chances? Do everything the right way. If you're ready to retire, you got that money to live in the Philippines, then you go. Don't lead some chick on, the back and forth shit. Or maybe you're just doing it for some little carnal pleasure from the computer screen, sharing pictures and videos, if you know what I'm talking about. If that's all you want, make it clear that's all you want. Don't lead a Filipina on to think that, you're coming out there, you're going to be with her, have a happy life and a marriage. It's unfortunate, but this is actually what happens a lot. You got a lot of foreigners, I don't know why they get in a relationship with a Filipina if they can't be out here. Don't lead her on. Don't lead her on, man. Don't do Here's a good one. Once a car salesman, always a car salesman. I get a kick out of Paul's show because he's one of the leading clickbait channels you could find out here. One of the leading ones, I would say. Now, Paul just did a show, and you think he's going to talk about leaving the country. Then he goes to this big spiel about, the bad experiences he's had here. It sounds like he's getting ready to leave the fucking country. But as it winds up, I'll save you the time, he's not going anywhere. But he was talking about all the bureaucracy and all the bullshit and the crap he went through and meeting people that took him for a lot of money and this and that and this and that. And it built up. And he does a show where, I forgot the title of it, his last one, where you think that, you know, he's going to be making decisions to possibly move to another country. Save you the trouble. He's not. But the clickbait that Paul uses all the time. I don't know, people just amaze me. They just amaze me. That's why I kind of keep to myself. I got some few good neighbors here, and I know a lot of people through my girlfriend that I consider my friends too. Of course, I got my family here. I got the two kids. I got her also, and her and the two kids. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. Where you have a loss in your life, you have a gain. The fact is, I don't talk to my daughter. It's fine. I raised her. I did my job. I have a different perspective on things now. I really do. I did my job. I raised her well, and that's it. Birds fly out of the nest, and they become whoever they become. Whether their personality changes, go through a change of life or something, there's some things you have no control over in your life. There are more people now that are dysfunctional than ever before in this world. So many dysfunctional people. We're all dysfunctional in some way. I'm dysfunctional in some ways. You're dysfunctional in some ways. All part of the fucking cattle. Well, you're part of the cattle, not me. I told you, I don't join that herd. Not me. I don't join that herd. You do. I don't. I'm my own person. I make my own decisions. Choose my own styles. I don't do a style because everybody else is doing it. And people are so gullible. Let me tell you something that's kind of simple, but people don't even realize. Because people don't understand what's going on around them. I took a course called Concepts of Advertising when I was in New York Tech. Okay. Maybe you realize a lot of things about deceptive advertising and all that kind of shit, I'm no expert at it, that's for sure. But you wear t-shirts, right? They have a logo on it, right? Chances are that logo is, I don't know, pick a rabbit out of my hat here. Nike. What a clever advertising scam. It's clever. Why is it clever? Because you're not only buying their t-shirts, but you're a walking billboard for their company. Nike, whatever the company name is, whatever the logo is, you're wearing that. I admit I have a couple of shirts that maybe have a tiny little thing, might say Lee on it or something there. But I'm not going to a big old shirt, I don't generally wear those. Think of how clever these people are. And you buy into this shit, just like you buy into all the trolls and bullshit on here. You're buying into this crap. You're making some kind of valuation on somebody that you never fucking met, perhaps. Same thing, you buy a t-shirt. That's why the companies are making money. They're making money because you wear a logo on their t-shirt. So they're making sales from the t-shirt, but you never thought about that. They're making money from their t-shirt sales and you're advertising their company. Isn't that clever? That's clever. That's really clever. I see through things like that where other people don't. I read between the lines. I can meet somebody in 5 minutes. I could know whether I want to be around this person the second time. Brevis was one of them. Oh, for sure. I was able to read him like a favorite book, It was really easy to make my determination. Ricky's another one, too. He used me to get an affidavit to go against Fazio is all he did. And then he just, like he fucked Barry over, he fucked me over too. He's friendly with me, have breakfast with me, steal all my sausages. I always joke about the Hungarian sausages. I actually don't like Hungarian sausages. It was okay. I knew it was full of cholesterol. I figured let him eat all that cholesterol. Maybe he'll explode in front of me. Perhaps. I'd get lucky enough. But I'm very good at making judgment on people, characters. It doesn't take long. I can figure people out real well. Call it a gift or a curse, I don't know, according to how you want to look at it. But I can figure people out in a short period of time. Give me 5 minutes with somebody. 5 minutes. The one person that I was a little bit confused about was Mick Fisher. Seemed like a really nice guy. Maybe got lost on the way or something. I don't know. But I met up with Mick. I want to see what he was like. Little did I know he was just basically feeling me out. Okay. And I sensed it. Because we would talk on Messenger. Okay. And then he was kind of like on both sides of the fence when it came to like Barry. He totally admits that what Barry did was wrong and should pay for it. On the other hand, yeah, but he's paid his price. Well, no, Mick, you were not in my position, Mr. Fisher. That didn't happen to you, Mick. He didn't call you a fucking child molester. Maybe you would have done something different, like flatten that fucking guy into the ground. Because maybe you're not planning on staying in the Philippines. Take care of business. It's different if you have to stay in the Philippines because you live here. You can't do anything illegal. Sure, you want to pound somebody in the ground for what they did to you, but you can't legally do that. Unless you want to wind up in a prison. So you got choices you got to make. And you got to think out these choices. Wise choices. How do you handle something? What's the best way to handle something? Now, Mick Fisher seemed like a nice guy. He bought us breakfast. We met up once or twice while he was here. Went to a little resort area, whatever. He was cool. And, but then, I noticed that, okay, I think he's kind of highly religious. He's supposed to have all these morals and values, but yet I noticed that he had a little favoritism toward Barry, even though he admits that Barry is a creep, in so many words, that, with everything he's done, that he deserves to pay the price of what he's done. But on the same note, Mick would but it might have even donated to him too. I'm sure he probably has. So people are talking on both sides of their mouth, We call that fence jumping and whatever you want to call it on here, but they're saying one thing and meaning another. And that's what happened with Mick. Mick seemed like a nice guy. Not anything against Mick, but, then I started putting two to two together. We started messing each other a little bit here and there. And we didn't kind of agree with each other on a few things, is what it came down to. And just like, who is it that just had tried to make a comment on my channel and I took him right off? Because he's an asshole. Our boy in Florida, not Popeye, but his adopted son, comes in there to say hello. And this guy talks shit about me all the time. You got to make choices of who you want to communicate with and who you don't. You want to evaluate these people based on your experience, not on conjecture, not on what hearsay or anything else. Base it on your own experience mostly. Make your own evaluations of somebody, but base it on fact, not hearsay. That's the difference. Now, I've met Creepy Barry, and I know he's a creep, and what he's done to me, he's demonstrated it. Okay? I've met Nico. He's a bullshit artist. He's a bullshit artist. He'll be friendly on the ferry and all that shit, but then later on he's knocking me and knocking me and knocking me. These are people also say they're so successful with women, but you never see them with any women. Nico's more interested in his blade of grass than he is in a woman. He even refers to them in sex, that they're she. Oh, she's looking good today. I'm saying these fucking weird ass fucking people. No, we don't want that type in the Philippines. Stay where you are. Visit if you must. It's kind of like the attitude in Hawaii. The Hawaiians say to the tourists that come in, they say, yeah, come in. Enjoy yourself. Spend your money here, but go the fuck back to the mainland. That's my attitude with this. If you're going to come to the Philippines, examine it. Now, we talked about a few bugaboos and good points on here. I'm very direct on what I'm saying this morning, but how I feel about the Philippines. And I do recognize that there are discrepancies here. There are bugaboos, as I call it. There's a lot of them, but there are good things too, and you have to balance it out. Or don't move here. Don't come here just for a woman because you have to live here. This is your new life, your new culture. Explore it a little bit or try to. And if what you don't understand about the culture, ask. Ask. Ask your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever. Explain this to me. Say, this just came up and I don't understand it, this part of the culture. Why do they do this? Why do these druids that look like in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, there's these people with lanterns and flashlights, chanting this thing in a neighborhood when people are trying to sleep and they're going through neighborhoods and they're chanting something like they sound or look like they're druids or something. What is that all about? I asked her, and it's this, religious thing they do. But why 4 o'clock in the morning when people are fucking trying to sleep? It's like something out of a gothic movie or something. Yes, they do that out here. It's different. It's different. You got to understand there's different nuances. There's different values, different thought process out here, different practices that maybe from your country is so radically different. But that's what could make it a little exciting too, to absorb and accept some of these differences and understand them. Why they do this? Why do they like to have so many holidays out here? They're always celebrating something. There's a lot of reasons why they do that. They're very religious, a lot of religious holidays, and they're always adding more in. Somebody dies, they become a saint. They got somebody else to worship, This is another underlying reason, too, why people like to sing and play loud karaoke and they like to party. Because some people are oppressed. Some people are depressed, poor. And through music, through karaoke, through parties, they're going to feel good. They want to feel good. They want to rise above their oppression and depression. They want to rise above it. But do you realize why they're doing this? I do. I don't like loud karaoke over here. And lucky I don't get it close to me. It's what they do. They sing because it makes them feel good. It doesn't matter if they have a shitty voice or not. And you want to just, go over there and yell at them and tell them to shut the fuck up. But you got to understand why they're doing that. Everybody does something for a reason, you would think. But this is a different culture. It makes them happy to sing. Give them that plus for that. Okay, a lot of people are broke out here. Dirt farmer broke. They're trying to survive and feed their families. And they feel under pressure all the time. I know you're going to say, well, why have all these kids if you can't afford them? I would say that too, if you can't afford them. Don't have the kids. Birth control, You might look down at them saying, well, whatever. But they're going to do what they want to do. You're not going to change that. That could be a bugaboo. Hell, my girlfriend's got 8 kids. But she was able to take care of them. She was always able to afford to take care of them. It's a different story. But don't have a bunch of children if you can't afford to take care of your children. Because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them. Just like I could say, don't come to the Philippines and get these Filipinos pregnant and then move on and run away when that little kid is going to be growing up without a daddy. So it's a two-sided story. Some people say the Filipinos are doing bad things to foreigners. The foreigners are doing bad things to. They're both doing it. They're both doing it. You've got a good group of people in the Philippines, good Filipino people, and you got a bad. The same with the foreigners that come in here. You got a lot of bad seeds that are coming here for the wrong reasons. It's always mayhem in some way. A lot of mayhem. But that's our society as a whole right now, and it's getting worse as the economy just gets tighter and tighter on people. People are not happy when the government is sucking up your money, and when money's not going to the right places. Then they make promises to people. We're going to cut you a big fat check, the American government says. Yeah, in another year, but they hype people up and say, yeah, with this Doge thing that's going on, and they're going after people that have not paid, and countries that have not paid, and losers that have not paid their fees and taxes and all kinds of shit that's going on. Give it back to the American people. Yeah, maybe in another year, but they're suffering in the meanwhile. They'd love to have that so-called $5,000 check they're talking about that they're going to give to all Americans, although they don't really emphasize people on Social Security, though. You notice that. Everything is fucked up in this world, but you have to look through it through different eyes. You don't have to be around people you don't like, so don't be around people that are not meant to be around you. Don't hang around with loser foreigners if they're a loser type, like Brevis and people like that. You don't want to be around these type of people, and Barry and other people, and Ricky, all these fucking losers. They're great for entertaining you, but that's about it. They're fucked up people, period. Don't deal with these people. You don't have to. And if you don't like what you're listening to on a channel, I guess you could always turn to another channel, the same as mine. What I'm trying to tell my viewers is to wake up. Wake up and smell society. Wake up and smell the coffee. Wake up and understand what position you have put yourself in life. If you decided to move to the Philippines, sold everything, and everything turns out horrible for you out here, that's your mistake. You should have stayed out here a number of years before you sold the farm. Don't move out here just because it's a Filipina. There has to be something about the Philippines you like, something about the culture that you like. Don't move out here because of a woman, because you will wind up being miserable later on if you can't mesh with the bureaucracy out here. The red tape, the laws they have out here that could be radically different from the United States or otherwise. Make decisions based on long thought. Do the math. Why do you want to come out here? Make it the right reason, that you're not running away from some criminal thing you did, or taxes, or people you owe money, or pissed off. Don't come out here because that's the wrong reason to come out here. Because if you're a shithead in another country, you're a shithead in this country. You carry yourself with, you're going to carry yourself to where you go. No matter where you go, there you are. There you are. And I got to get a hold of my gal, so I got to go. I think I tried to give you a multifaceted show this morning. ADD, whatever in action, that's for damn sure. But I have that gift of being able to segue from one thing to another. It saves a lot of time. Having separate shows on each issue, I could cover it in one goddamn show. That's how I feel. Maybe you know me a little better now. I do love the Philippines. I think it's a good place for me. I feel comfortable. That's all that matters. And yes, I know there's creeps moving in all the time. You're going to have that anywhere. But you see, the Philippines has been even more discovered as time went by. It wasn't just when wartime, when American troops and other troops and allies were out here, and they discovered it was easy to get laid out here. offer them a free drink or something, they get fucked, right? Offer them a bar of chocolate or something. And, it still hasn't changed that much in so many ways, but there are that kind of women that are out here, that's for sure. We know that. We know that to be true. Offer them a better life, they're going to jump for it, man. But you don't want to go for that kind of Filipino. You want to go for somebody that's humble. You want to go for somebody that's not looking at you as a paycheck or an ATM machine. People like to throw that statement around, well, your girlfriend's just an ATM machine. Well, we all are. Think about it. A lot of Filipinos are not rich. And there's nothing wrong with them wanting to get on a higher platform, higher above their family level, because they've been living in poverty, a lot of them, for all their life. They think there's no chance with the low paying wages they pay out here to get a job as a waitress or work for a call center at best, unless you manage to go to college and, become a professional. That's a lot better situation, of course, but not everybody can do that. And the qualifications to do that are very hard, too. Um, there are great Filipinos out here, and don't stereotype them, because you can't. You got the good and the bad anywhere. I don't care if it's the Philippines or anything. It's just really up to you, I'm trying to say, to make the wise choice of why you come out here and what you're looking for. Know what you want from a woman. Know what you want from the country you're going to live. Examine all the bads and goods about the country. Don't mind somebody else's assessment of it. Make it from your own experience, is what I'm trying to say. Don't listen to hearsay about people on here either. That creates a lot of havoc. Oh, that doesn't never happen, does it? Base people on your own experience with them, not what other people say. I've been called every name in the book and practically every crime in the world you could possibly accuse somebody of when they don't even know me personally. It's just that one person spouted off that didn't like you. It's like one apple spoils the bunch. That's just the way it is on social media. Join the club. It's a big club. People will make their assessments and evaluate you based on what somebody else said. That's commonplace on here. Nobody knows me really on a personal level out here. Nobody. Except my girlfriend and people we know out here. You hear my YouTube show all the time and you make your own assessments. But the one thing I could say about my show, I've always, and you may not agree with that, I've always been very factual. And I've said this many times before. If we're going to talk about somebody else on here, it is based on actual experience with the person, what you've seen, what you've heard. That's fact. It's not fiction. It's fact. You heard it. You've seen it. That's all I've ever talked about on here. And if I talked about anybody, it was based on my own experience of what I heard and seen, and what you have heard and seen too. That's the way you have to do it. Don't make assumptions about somebody unless you've actually seen them or heard them say or do something. Then you can say, yeah, I know this as a fact. You got to think differently. Okay, let's see. You put him in... you put him in his place. He got his reward for calling you names. But yeah, it's... I've been on it today, man. I'm on it like a flea to a dog. This morning's show, I wanted to cover a lot of bases this morning. It was very purposeful. I wanted to cover a shitload of bases. It saves time. So I have to do another show addressing the same fucking thing. I have the capability of doing that. I don't waste people's time. I get to the point. I give them a lot to talk about. I guess I'm good for something, huh? And boy, do I give them a lot to talk about, such as Popeye, who's probably simulcasting me right now, and whoever else that's recording me, copycat chatter. That's okay, because they're helping me get my word out. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm surprised I don't have 1 million subscribers. Maybe you're not helping me enough. But if I plan to be a long-term stayer on YouTube, if it was that's the situation, I'd give a shit or not. I'm not monetized or anything like that. I don't really give a shit. Sometimes YouTube is a way to a means or a means to a way, according to how you want to look at it. You want to hear to make money? Most people, that's what they're doing. And they don't even know what to say when they put a show on. Like, oh, well, okay, well, yep, whatever. That's not a vlogger, man. That's a fucking retard. And they call themselves vlogger. You don't know what a vlogger is. Define what a vlogger is. Well, we used to call them bloggers when you're right, but when you're on YouTube with the V in there, you're now a vlogger. But a vlogger means that you have something to say, and I got plenty to say. And if you've been listening to my show this morning, you had an earful of stuff for the past hour and 22 minutes. Only on my show can you come and you could hear the truth about something. I don't try to whitewash anything on my show. And if I offend people in any way because maybe the truth hurts, then that's your problem, not mine. You have a personal problem. I'm telling you like it is. I'm telling you how I see the Philippines. And I do like the Philippines despite all the bugaboos. You just have to make your own assessment of it and what works for you. And sometimes you got to work around problems too. Sometimes you got to hit a problem in the face. You got to take the bull by the fucking horns. Unless you want to be stepped on all the time. Sometimes you got to put a stop to something. It comes a time you come to a stop sign, put your foot on the brake, and you stop. Or make somebody stop. I mean, that's how I look at things. Have a little fun with somebody on here, that's okay. Call them a few words, that's okay. But when somebody consistently puts on a show and tries to ruin your reputation internationally, it affects you and your family and you personally, those are fighting words, my friend. You just don't do that on here. Fuck the freedom of speech shit. There is not that much freedom of speech as you think you have. There is not. I'll be redundant and say again, if you walk in an auditorium and yell fire and there's no fire, your ass is in trouble. And these people get hurt and killed the cattle trying to rustle their way out of the fucking doorway. You just committed a fucking crime. And you should be persecuted and prosecuted for it. It's the same shit, only a different. Same shit. 2 years later, he's still there locked up. Well, that's his fucking doing. I'm going to shed a tear for any motherfuckers like him. Then to make things worse, he gets his fucking girlfriend involved. Trying to fuck with my life. That's why I'm going to fuck with yours. But legally and factually. Legally and factually. There's a big difference in what I'm doing and a big difference in what you're trying to do, Chumley. Fucking backwards fucking hillbilly motherfucker. Getting his girlfriend involved is the worst thing he could have done for him and her. I'm making that statement right now. It's the worst thing that either one of them. He wants leniency from me. He could kiss my lily white ass. But he's not going to suck my dick like he wants me to suck his. I don't swing that way, Junior. What is it with him anyway with this come and suck my cock thing? Is this some projection going on here or something? I don't know, man. What's with that? He wants everybody to come and suck his dick. They're all males he's talking to. All males. I don't know. Has he ever had his dick sucked by another male? I don't know. Well, if not, then I don't know. Why is he wanting everybody to come and suck his dick? Not just, he doesn't just say that to me. He says it to everybody. Come here and suck my dick. Something wrong with that statement. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with that statement. It really makes you wonder. Not just me, everybody. You got to admit that. Why does he say that a lot? I don't know. Connected to Freud or whatever? What would Freud think about that? What would any psychiatrist or psychologist think about that? It's projection, perhaps. I don't know. We got a lot of sick people on fucking social media, but unfortunately, it's not just social media, it's everywhere. And people are becoming more violent. The introduction of these violent games that they introduced how many decades ago now it's been now? God, time's going by fast. People have become desensitized to blood and gore and violence, and that's our new society. And we have a label for everything. Now we're calling the woke society. What's going to be the next one? Everything from Generation X to millennials to uh, Generation X2s or something. And now we got what? The woke generation. The woke generation? I don't know. Is that supposed to be highly liberal people or something? Righteous people? Is that what the woke? Because I'm confused. Are they supposed to be the righteous group now? The righteous group? The woke generation? Nobody's awoke. Nobody's even awakened. They're all in a fucking stupor. When they don't realize what's going on around them all the time in their world. All everybody's interested is getting fucked and making money. How many people look at a tree when they really look at a tree when they walk by it? The amazement of how it started from a little seed. But people's minds are so consumed with so many things at one time. And that's why we got a lot of people out there that are on psychotropic fucking drugs because society is such that now we have a population where they're going to make fun of you if you took a psychotropic drug. But look at all the anxious and depressed people in this world now. And this is nothing new. This has been going on for a long time and it's getting worse. You walk up to 10 different people and they give an honest answer to you if you ask them, how many of you people have taken antidepressant drugs or something for anxiety? I wouldn't be surprised that 3 out of those 10 people would say yes. We have a very complicated society that's putting pressure, purposely putting pressure on the people in this world. Because everything's about money and greed. And they want to separate the poor with the middle class or get rid of it. So all you have is the poor and the rich. And there's a reason for that. Because there's more control over people that don't have as much money. It doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. So enjoy yourself, people. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy life while you got it, because I'm going to tell you, it goes quick. Make the right decisions in your life. If you want to move to the Philippines, do it for the right reason. If you want to stay here for the right reason. But if you want to do shows on the Philippines and all you're doing is knocking, then what are you doing out there? Get the fuck out of here. I realize there's problems in the Philippines. There's some things that are uncomfortable for me. Or different. I might say they're different. But I try to understand it. Because you have to. You live out here. And they are good people out here. They really are. They're really good people, but I think they're like anybody else. You piss somebody off enough, things could happen. If there's jealousy, maybe, you got more money than somebody. They're normal people. There's jealousy, with the foreigners that come here. There's even jealousy. The males may not like some of the foreigners coming here because they're taking all the women. It's like anywhere else. It's like anywhere else. It's not that much different, except for the fact that, maybe they are 50 years behind infrastructure and everything else and internet and all kinds of shit from other countries. Yeah. Then people complain about the government out here, that they're saying that the government is corrupt. Well, I don't know. Which government is not corrupt? And one of the most corrupt governments is the United States. Now, if you disagree with that, then you're just a fucking fool to think that the United States is not the most corrupt country in the fucking world. When I grew up, it was corrupt back then too. But I had a lot more respect for the United States than I do now. And to re-elect Trump as a president just told me about the American people where their head is at. up their ass. A guy with 32 felonies, he manages to slide past that. And now this has been unprecedented. That a president could put himself in full immunity to crime. That's what he did. That means he could go off and commit and murder somebody if he had to. Complete immunity. And you elected this fool. You elected him. I didn't. Can't vote out here anyway for him. Barry could, though. He has a way of doing that from his computer. But I didn't elect the fool. Some of you all did. He gave himself full immunity. Got rid of 32 felonies. You can't become a president when you're a fucking felon. But he managed to do that. Isn't that interesting? And gave himself full immunity. That's the guy you wanted as president. And now he's going to fuck with the economy like you never believe. There's always something in it for him and his Republican friends. He's a money man that's looking for power. So is Musk. Now Musk is his big financial advisor. Something wrong with this. Someone ruling the country that's a tyrant, who's a dictator. You voted for him. You voted for him. If I was able to vote in this country, I should not have put a vote for him. I'd take Hillary over him. And unless she's not my favorite. I like Clinton, though. I like Clinton. I've always liked Clinton. But Trump? Nah, man. The worst choice you guys have ever fucking made. No, not really. Kamala is, she's progressive. I mean, she has a younger attitude anyway. She could offer something different, but I think she's too volatile. I think she falls apart too easy. I don't think she could handle the stress. I don't think she'll be able to handle the stress. I don't think so. And then I do agree with some things people said. One day she's black and associates with the blacks, and the other day she's not, or whatever. I don't know. There was a lot of talk about that. She started putting on more of a kind of an African American accent at times when it was convenient to relate herself with the black people, the black folks. Yeah, she's done some kind of stupid things. Put it that way. No, she would not have been ideal. No. Hillary would not have been ideal either because Hillary flies off the handle too much. Bill was good. Bill was good. Even if he did fuck Monica Lewinsky. Good for him, man. He was married to Hillary. I mean, shit. Nothing wrong with that. Monica was cute, man. So she had a little sperm on her dress and they got him for, what the hell, man? Monica was cute. She was an upstepper, man. She's got a pretty good position now. But that was personal what the president does, okay? I thought, Clinton was doing a pretty good job for the country. So his personal life is his personal life. That's it. If he's able to do a good job for the country, you just concentrate on that. Not what he does personally and privately. And if he wants to go fuck a woman on the side and be unfaithful, that's his personal life, which should not be brought. That's where the world is. They want to bring your personal life into your professional life. They're two different things. Is the person who's hired for a job, are they doing their job or are they not doing their job? If they're not, you fire them. But you don't bring in personal things in their personal life and say, oh, you did this, so you can't be a good president or a corporation head or whatever. Are they doing their job? Yes or no? If they are, leave them alone. Who they want to fuck on the side is their business. It's their business. Everybody tries to find fault. Look, if I had to just, put this show into one sentence, it would be that everybody's trying to find fault with somebody. As if they're perfect. Everybody trying to find fault with somebody else. Why? Because they're not happy with themselves. Okay? You have a good one, folks. Was that too long for you, Popeye? I'm sorry. Well, of course, I knew that Popeye was going to do a little skit there after I did my live show this morning, and I was laughing. And we had all the losers on one channel at one place. Imagine if you just get an extermination bomb out. There was a way of doing that. Nico was flexing his muscles again. On one hand, he's saying Gilda's a great person, but yet he was labeling her as a caretaker and some other innuendos. I think Nico needs to stay to attend to his blades of grass because that's the closest thing he's going to get to a female in his lifetime, anyway. You can stop and visit me anytime, Nico, you want. See how tough you are. Flex your muscles, see how far that gets you. I know, I'm an old man, right? I can't take care of myself. And he's saying that there's nobody out there in YouTube that could do anything to him. Punch me twice, punch me second time. I'm going to stand there, not going to fall. But punch me 3 times and you're out. You know, I seem to recall, Nico, many times where you did actually come to the Philippines and your little retractors out there or people that were not exactly liking you uh, were actually looking for you. And you had a big mouth and said you'd stand up to anybody. But, you know, you kept on moving from place to place, is what you did. So stop the bravery shit. Stop the bravery shit. You're full of shit. The last thing you want to get in trouble is in the Philippines. And by the way, you'd be proud to beat up a 70-year-old man. That's called a coward. That's called a coward. Forget martial arts. I'm not a martial artist. But if I had to put you down, I could put you down. And I know a couple little tricks of the trade that'll put your fucking big ass down. I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying, don't judge a book by its cover. We're getting off the violence crap of this. And he's all mouth anyway. He's always been that way. Same as Jay and some other people. They're all big mouths. Of course, Popeye was going on and on and on, calling me a pedophile and this and that. But he doesn't realize I've also got recordings of him calling me such and a lot of other things too. You're in America. I'm going to put a case on you. Well, I'm an American. I can put a case on you, sucker. Think about that. There you go. It was an interesting part of Popeye's show to listen to. I was reading the comments. So, of course, all Popeye loser supporters. And, of course, Nico always puts his... He always comes in there as a tough guy. Not from your history did I understand that I can remember. You're not a tough guy, Nico, because you don't stay in one place when you go to Cebu. You don't. You're always moving around so they can't catch you from one cheap backpackers hotel to another. And if somebody ain't paying your way like Big E or somebody, okay, let's get back to Mick Fisher again. I was not attacking Mick Fisher. I was not attacking Mick Fisher. Let's get that straight. I was saying that he was partial to Barry. That's what I was saying. Maybe his religious beliefs or something, but he was partial to Barry. When he admitted to me to himself that, yeah, Barry belongs where he is, and maybe more. But that's where me and Mitch didn't agree. You see, Mitch was not put in that position, so it's like really easy, like Mitch or anybody, to say what they say. I mean, unless you're wearing my shoes. Talk is cheap, but if somebody was out there trying to ruin your reputation internationally, really, you think about it, mar your character and everything else, you'd probably do the same thing or maybe worse. Maybe you'd beat the shit out of them. Maybe you wouldn't care about the law. I just took it a different direction, legally. That's all. I'm taking care of business. Absolutely. I'm doing it the right way. That's the way you should do it. But no, right away, they want to pitch Mitch against me or me against Mitch. No, I don't really have a lot against Mitch, except that he kind of jumped the fence a little bit. But he has his own opinions, and he deserves to have his own opinions. You know, he just felt that Barry shouldn't be in there that long. Well, that's like saying that I put him in there that long. I didn't put him in there that long. Immigration is keeping him in there for the 22 months he's been there so far. Not me. It just so happens there's a case against him, Mitch, or anybody else that's listening. There happens to be there's a case against him. That's what the system is doing. I'm not doing that to him. The system is doing that to him. Blame them, not me. I didn't tell them, hey, you got to keep him in here for 22 months and counting. No, never said that. Never paid anybody to keep him in there. Never did anything. The very fact that he's got a criminal case against him is what's keeping him incarcerated. Popeye, you fucking asswipe. I'm not doing that. And Mitch, I'm not doing that either. You want to complain about how long Barry, and I know you've been financially supporting him. I'm not stupid, but that's your biz. But you want to find out why he's in there that long? Talk to immigration about it, Mitch, or anybody else, or Popeye. Talk to immigration. He's in there because he's got a case on him. I don't set the rules and guidelines. They do. It's not my country, and I don't make the laws. He broke the laws. That's why he's in there. And he will continue to be in there until the case is over. And then whatever happens from there. It's in control of the government, in control of the judge, it's control of immigration, all of the above. I'm not in control of that. Stop pointing fingers to me saying I'm doing all this bad shit to Barry. But every one of you motherfuckers out there, you have your own opinions about the guy, and they have not been good opinions about him. So now that he's incarcerated, oh, the poor guy. Not a poor guy. He's got money in the bank. Don't kid yourself. You want to believe his lies, you believe his lies. How else is he eating every day? Do the math. He's lied about everything. He lied about his marriage. He lied about immigration. He lied about everything. That's why he's there. It doesn't take much to figure that out. It doesn't take much at all. He put himself there. That's the bottom line. Doesn't take much thinking about that. But as far as Mitch, they change words around on me. No, Mitch is not my enemy. I don't care if Mitch likes me or not. He's not my enemy. Well, not to me. I just decided not to talk to him anymore because it just seemed like he was double talking. On one hand, he's saying, yeah, the guy deserves this and deserves that. On the other hand, I don't think he should be in there anymore. Why? You know everything he's done, Mitch. You know everything he's done and more. I know you're going to base it on your religious beliefs. I know you're a religious person. I'm not. You are. In other words, show mercy to somebody. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Show mercy to somebody. That's if they deserve mercy, Mitch. That's the difference. You know goddamn well if you were in my shoes in this situation, man, you might have handled it differently. You might have took your fist to his head and pounded him in the ground like a railroad stake. Don't play this religious shit. Show peace, show mercy. There's no mercy to show on this guy, Mitch or anybody else. There's no mercy. He doesn't deserve mercy. He doesn't even deserve that other girl, Marcy. Nevertheless, get mercy. Mercy, I think, is also a river in France, too, isn't it? The Mersey River? There's no mercy for that guy. He doesn't deserve it. And as I said, every one of you guys out there, if you were in my position, you would feel the same goddamn fucking way. You would do the same goddamn thing that I'm doing. I'm actually really tired of talking about this shit. Let things lead where they're going to go. Let them go where they're going to go. And let both parties handle their matters in the best way that they possibly can to remedy their own situations. Probably he's going to do some prison time. It's looking that way to me. Well deserved, and that's not enough for me. Oh, he doesn't talk about my girlfriend. But Popeye, on the other hand, as I said, he's one of the biggest cowards out there above Barry. One of the biggest. Because he's over there like 15,000 miles away, talking on his computer, cell phone, whatever he's talking on a laptop. And he feels he can say everything he wants. But yeah, but if you come to the United States, I'm going to put a case on you. Well, buddy, you think I don't record your shit? You'll be in competition on a case. You also call me a pedophile and a lot of other shit. You think I don't record your shows too? Knock yourself out. If I was in the United States, knock yourself out. You got more to worry about than me. You're about half dead at this point. Well, you're dead in the head anyway. You have no morals. There's no moral turpitude. My God. From you? You don't say a kind thing about anybody, Robert. You don't say a kind word about anybody. So, this Mick Fisher thing, yeah, you could be merciful to somebody if they deserve it, Mitch. You know goddamn well. See, these are the secret people that are donating to Barry, okay? They're going on their religious values, and most of them are all fucking hypocrites anyway. Because Mick says a lot of bad shit on people's comments about me, or maybe other people sometimes, mostly me. But where's all his religious values? Where's all his religious values? The way he'll talk about me or make reference or something. Where's all his religious values? They're all hypocrites. They're all fucking hypocrites. Everybody wants to kick each other's ass on here. I haven't seen I haven't seen that happen yet. Not yet. Everybody's a tough guy. Nico's a tough guy. Nico's a tough guy. Talks the words, don't walk the walk. It's easy to say something from how many miles away. It's also easy to say something which is totally ridiculous because you know goddamn well. You're in the fucking Philippines, whether it's me or anybody goddamn else. You're not going to get into a physical confrontation with nobody out here. I'll assure you of that. And don't judge a book by its fucking cover. Whether it's me or anybody else, who knows? Barry could be a dynamo. Barry could maybe kick all our asses. We make an assumption that Barry is what we basically think of him. All tough guy, but maybe he's a Superman comic book hero for all we know. Too many assumptions. Too many assumptions. Everybody could be a tough guy. Everybody could be a tough guy. But when, you know, but when a time comes, what happens? I need to go out of town. Oh, I just wasn't there to catch you. I'll just stop by. Or something like that. They're all superheroes in their own minds, their own sick minds. It's so easy to talk on the other side of a phone. Yeah. What's kind of funny is that even if somebody could kick my fucking ass, first of all, that wouldn't be terribly hard to do at my age. Coming from somebody like Nico or somebody that's 20 years or whatever my junior, and he's overweight, okay, terribly overweight. All he has to do is sit on me. It's over with. You don't have to punch me. Sit on me, and it's probably over. But they run their mouth just as much as the other guy does. They run their mouth. You know damn well, and anybody else knows, nobody's going to beat anybody up in the Philippines, not even me. It would be the worst place to try to do an act of violence on anybody. Because you'll wind up in jail just like that other fucking jailbird. Or worse. Talk is cheap. It makes time on a channel to give somebody to talk about. Talk is cheap. That's all it is. It's cheap talk. Popeye the brave hero there, calls me a pedo. But he knows goddamn well, he'll know what hell and fury is if I was standing in front of him, standing in front of his ass, and he called me that to my face or talked about Gilda the way he does. Popeye is just as guilty as the rest of the trolls. Popeye is not innocent at all. Not in the least. He's not innocent. And he actually has never been. He's all talk. And Nico kisses his ass all the time. The daddy he never had. Oh, and Nico goes on about what a wonderful father he is. I raised my kids for 2 to 3 years, he says. 2 to 3 years. Really? That's all? I raised my daughter from when she was born to about 20 years old. 20 years old. And when I divorced and I got custody, I raised her. I raised her. I was there for her all the time. What choices she makes as an adult is her own gig. With rhyme or reason. But I was there. I changed her shitty diapers. I took on the responsibility. No, it wasn't 2 or 3 years. Because, you were into all this drug shit, you told us, Nico, didn't you? Am I lying? You were into drugs. You couldn't be in your kids' lives. How do you suddenly come out to be the ideal father? Like the TV show Father Knows Best. The idealistic father. You weren't an idealistic father. You were a fucking drug addict, an alcoholic. By your own admittance. Henceforth, who are you to be preaching about fatherhood or parenthood? Who are you to be preaching about such? You got a lot of nerve. You definitely got some big balls. Why don't you lose some weight, take care of yourself, fuck your grass. I know you can't fuck your grass. You probably would if you could. Find yourself a real woman, not a pay-for-date like Ricky, and go on with your life. You're not a youngster anymore, Nico, if you haven't figured that out yet. You haven't even figured yourself out yet. Look at your age right now. What have you accomplished? You're not settled down anywhere. At this rate, you're never going to get a fucking woman. Anyway, that's my point. Talk is cheap. Nobody's going to pound anybody's head in the Philippines. Nobody's that stupid to even try. Not even me. I've lived here long enough to know. You don't make trouble in the Philippines. Talk is cheap. Popeye is a known coward. That when Raining Cats and Dogs, or whoever it was, there's several people that actually came to his area that wanted to meet him to kick the shit out of him. And Popeye just mysteriously disappeared from YouTube for almost a year. And it happened on a couple of occasions too, actually. Talk is cheap, Popeye? Oh, believe me, and I'll make this public. Believe me, if I was face to face to you and you said that kind of shit and called me a pedo and talked about Gilda the way you did, I'd pound your ass to the fucking ground. And I'll go to jail if I have to in America, whatever. I would pound your face to the ground. It's real easy for you to talk about this shit on here. You talk about my girlfriend and everything. You didn't even have a woman. When was the last time you had a fucking woman that you've seen a fucking pussy other than Pornhub? You haven't. You can't afford to talk, Popeye. You can't afford to talk. But what you don't understand, Popeye, is that people humor you. They're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. Because they know you're an old, lonely man. The only way he has a house is because he inherited from Jean, his mom. That's the only reason he has a house. You think he would have been able to afford it otherwise? I don't think so. I don't think so. Riding on your mobility scooter. I don't think life has done you any justice, the way I see it. Bingo parlor, occasionally go out to the casino, got your mobility scooter because you can't walk. Really? Sounds exciting to me. But at least I made my accomplishments. I got what I wanted. And I worked for it. Yes, I worked for it. I was never getting any free checks from anybody. I'm on regular Social Security. I'm not on a disability. And when I was, you have to go through scrutiny of tests to get that. Now, how Barry got away with that, I don't know. That's why I think it's more not on the physical side and probably the other. That's probably how he did it, to get what they call crazy pay, they call it. I know they used to call that in Hawaii and Seattle. I don't know if that's a common terminology for getting disability based on mental issues. But I would venture to say that it's probably in that direction because there's nothing wrong with his back. He's just a coward and he just tells people, oh, I can't get in a fight. I have to use a weapon because I'm not capable of doing it. I got a bad back. Yeah. In real life, Barry has had many situations where someone wanted to meet up with him. Even with Ren Zero, that never happened. Barry find a way to back out. He always had an excuse. Always had an excuse. He likes running his mouth because, again, he's in a protective environment behind his phone in a jail cell where he should be. All right, that's all I have to say. I did a long enough show this morning. So I want to make some comments on Popeye's little extravaganza this morning. It's all talk. Nico, you're all talk. If you had something against me on that ferry, why didn't you pound me right there? Why didn't you pound me right there? Who are you afraid of? Oh, first he starts talking nice about Gilda. But then look at all the references and innuendos he made about her, calling her a caretaker. That's downing her. That's not, it's not an uplifting statement, really. You're downing her by calling her a caretaker in the sense that she is a caretaker to me and I'm a caretaker to her, but you meant it in a derogative way. That's the difference. You talk from both sides of your mouth, Nico. That's what you do. Hey, live your life. I'll live mine. I know I'm living a better life than you. I had directions, and I took my directions. I wasn't coming back and forth to the Philippines every time to find a woman. I settled with somebody. Settled, and when I say settled, doesn't mean I just settled for whatever I can get. I settled down with somebody, Nico. That's the difference. That's the difference. You don't have what I have, and I got a lot more than you. Money? What money do you have, Nico? What money? Well, okay, maybe you have a few bucks because you don't do anything. Make an occasional trip to the Philippines, maybe to Colombia. How'd that work out for you so far? You couldn't find one chick with millions of Filipino women. You couldn't connect with one chick in the Philippines. Not one. Just like Ricky. Not one chick could you actually connect with to formulate a real relationship. Why is that, Nico? Because you're too cocky. You're like the other guy. You're cocky. And because, as you admit yourself, that, yeah, you've mistreated women. You said it. You have. And you're one of these guys that look down at women like they're a piece of shit. And he does. But these are coming from people that can't successfully make a connection with a woman. They can't make a connection. They can't make a love connection. Whether it's the way they look, act, talk, tough guy shit, braided hair, tattoos, all this shit. Looking like a tough guy. Overweight, obese. He's not going to live very long. No, he's not. Neither is Ricky. He's always good at the end. End of the tunnel, there's light. Karma is a bitch. Nico's not happy with his life. He's a mama's boy. Oh, nothing. Oh, but then, yeah, speaking of mamas, he knocks me because my mother is dead. Oh, like I could have helped that. He knocks me. Oh, well, my mother's still alive. How old are you, Nico? Are you 6 years old? 5 years old? At least my mother is alive. Do you know how lame that sounds, Nico? How fucking lame that sounds? No, my mother's not here. Neither is my father. Your father ran away from your ass. Where's your father, Nico? Where's your father? Where's he in your life? My father was there for me when he was alive. So was my mom. She died, motherfucker. She died. How could my mother be in my... Oh, at least my mother's in my life. You are immature, Nico. You're totally immature. That's why you will never hook into a serious relationship with a woman. You will never. That's never going to happen unless you pay for her. And guess what? I'm not an ATM machine to my girlfriend. Not at all. Yes, she does have her own money. I don't know why you have a problem with that. She does have her own money. She's self-sufficient. We work as a team, me and her together. We help each other out. We got a good balance. That's the kind of woman you want to find. But your personality just, it knocks it out of the park, Nico. It knocks it out of the park for you because you can't help being you. You can't help being yourself, which is not saying much. You can be rude. You can be crude. And my girlfriend thinks you're a piece of shit. When she's home, I'll have her tell you right online that she thinks you're a piece of shit, that you're full of shit. Yeah, try coming to Bantayan and try to trouble me. You'll never leave Bantayan. You'll be in a fucking holding cell or worse. Don't judge a book by its cover, Nico. People have made that mistake in their lives before. I don't judge people necessarily by, the cover. There's some people that are actually capable of taking care of themselves no matter what age they are. You'd be surprised. Even I was surprised in my life. I've seen a lot of situations where I would never think that one person could pound somebody to the ground that was a lot bigger than they were. You just don't know. Or a lot older. You just don't know. I don't advocate violence, so pardon me for even talking about this. But Nico tends to do that. He wants to show himself as a big tough guy. And he said, there's nobody. That must mean Mick Fish and everybody too. There's nobody on YouTube, Big E, anybody. There's nobody on YouTube that's going to kick his ass. Really. You're pretty cocky, aren't you? You're that sure of yourself. He said, I'll give him 3 times. Punch me once, hit me once. I'll still be standing there. Hit me twice, I'll still be standing there. But hit me 3 times, and he's going to pound somebody. You're pretty sure of yourself, aren't you? You're a coward like anybody else is on here. You're a coward, Nico. You always were, and you're always running away from people. Every time you came, and there was any kind of disturbance going on with somebody was knocking you, wanted to meet up with you, something, you disappear. So don't talk about me. I'm here. Everybody knows where I live. They got a problem with me. They know where I live. Bring it on. There's only 2 things that could happen out of that, and I won't talk about it. The 2 very distinct things that could come out of that. You just do the math on that. Anyway, I'm done with my shows today. Had a long show this morning. Barry is where he is because as he deserves. Just I get this straight. As far as Mick Fish is concerned, that he feels that it's wrong that Barry has served this much time in detention. Normal circumstances, I would say you're absolutely correct. I would agree with you. But you see, he has a case tied in with that. That's why he's been in there that long. I didn't set the rules. I want to make this clear. I didn't set the rules. I didn't tell them to keep him in there for 22 months and counting so far. I did not. He just did some really stupid shit that got him into trouble, and that's why he's still there. And that's why he's facing a criminal case, an ongoing case. Likely he will be convicted. That's how it worked. I didn't set the rules. The Philippines has its own guidelines. I don't set them. That's all I had to say. Go take care of your grass, Nico. Your grass loves you. Somebody loves you. Oh, besides your mommy. That one could get away with murder in the Philippines and have somebody shot in the head and get away with it. You have admitted and alleged that Norman Tensinko, the ex-commissioner, was given some favoritism to Chinese nationals and put them up in a hotel and sent them home. You have also said on your show, and this is all in just one show, which makes it absolutely fucking amazing. Bribery. How many times have you talked about the Department of Immigration taking bribes and also accusing me of giving bribes? Then you do go on about Gilda. You've been knocking her and you say that you don't. Basically painting her as a useless Filipina that's my subservient person who will give in to me like I'm an ATM machine, and further than that. You've done a lot more than that. Don't say you don't talk about my girlfriend, Barry, because you do, and that's all recorded in the perfect timing, actually. DOJ and all the other offices involved all have a copy of these videos. It's already been sent. You don't know when to stop and to shut your mouth until you're in big doo-doo, and you've been in big doo-doo this whole fucking time. I told you, man, I don't stop here, and I never will. When are you ever going to learn? Your viewers have tried to tell you. Even Don, even Popeye, people have tried to tell you this. Despite what they think of me, they understand your situation very well. For some reason, you can't shut your mouth, and you keep on putting yourself in a position. We already know you're not married. You kept on making reference. And by the way, you can't send her on a tourist visa. If you said you're married to her, you wouldn't need a tourist visa. Stop lying to your audience. Oh, I'm sick of this. Really, I am. Look, I've sent in what I need to do. I'm done. Let the departments take over this and see what happens. I've turned into every vital office from DOJ to DOJ Cybercrime to the investigation unit with the Cebu District Office to the Immigration Office. That's it. I'm done. What they do with you at this point, we'll see. And as far as you keeping that phone, I wouldn't keep your hopes up. Really wouldn't. You gotten away with too much already. That's over. That's over. Totally over. Congratulations on your buffoonery. I'll be with you shortly. I'm finding it so hard to believe the stupidity of this guy. Needless to say, I have to say who I'm talking about. This guy goes out of his way for self-punishment, and I don't understand it. There is no reasoning with him. It's impossible. Uh, Therefore, there is quite clarity, a lot of clarity on my part of what I need to do. But if you saw my recent videos, shorts, remixes, he defies the government, every single office. He knocks immigration, the very people that have him incarcerated. He states that immigration is corrupt, basically. Say that they're taking bribes and I'm giving bribes. He's insulted this office so bad. Hello, AJG. not going to be on too long. I'm expecting a call here, but and yet he continues. Well, you've heard the speech before because you hear it all the time. You know when I say that word that I'm amazed? I mean, I really am. I'm not shitting around when I say I'm amazed at the stupidity of this guy and how he insults his viewers all the time. Now, what did he? He's blaming Ricky or something for 300,000 that was supposed to go to bribe a immigration. Isn't that what he said on one of his last shows? Then he's talking about, well, you saw my videos. Then he's talking about how easy it is to kill somebody in the Philippines and get away with it. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's part of his charm, AJ. I guess so. Look, there is stupidity and there is stupidity. Guess which one he is? Sounds the same, right? No, second one. It's the way I say it. Stupidity. Look, no matter what happens in this whole scenario, he's going up the river somewhere. That's for sure. Too much bullshit. Too much drama. Too much bullshit. It's going to end somewhere, but there's not one agency that has not been contacted by me. I can assure you, everything he recently said has been sent over to particular agencies that would have an interest in this. Yeah. Stefan says it's astonishing how his live streams are getting worse and worse for him. Well, like I said a lot, he's obviously frustrated. He's having a nervous breakdown, basically. Well, now we know he's not married. I think we all come to that conclusion. He lied to everybody again. Remember I always say, when his lips move, there you go. Oh, hi, Robert, if you're out there. Yeah. I mean, I find, look, I've been going through this a while with him. I just find it astonishing. I've met stupid people in my life, but I've never seen a moron like him. I mean, by his own, here we go, you're going to love it again. And it's true. By his own demonstration, man. AJ says, well, whatever happens, he's spent damn near 2 freaking years in jail. I agree with you. No matter what happens, if something happens to me too, I mean, I'm going to get some satisfaction out of this. I'll guarantee you that. Now, it's up to these agencies to do what they want to do. I'm out of this now. I've sent the information in. I did what I felt I needed to do as far as him downing the system, his death threats to me, his continual use of his phone, committing the same crimes that got him in trouble in the first place. How fucking repetitive do I have to be? But some people don't get it through their thick skull, so sometimes I got to treat him like a 3-year-old. Even a dog has more understanding than him. Stephen says, whenever Barry says, show me proof, that just means whatever he said did not happen. Exactly. Well, you've been following him long enough. You've learned that, haven't you? We all have. We all have. He's so predictable. He's so predictable. And, I don't know. He's like a fucking wolf in a trap that's chewing off its own leg to get out of that trap. But in the process of chewing off his leg, there's a lot of blood lost, and he's going to wind up dying. I mean, I don't know if that's a great analogy, but I don't know. It just came to my head. Just accept it, whatever. Okay. Yeah, show me proof. Well, I think there's more proof that's been shown on here than any case in this country. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what agency doesn't know what he's done, but it still does. I got to give him credit for something. He manages to hold on to that phone no matter what. He had agencies approaching him. He's not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that, but he winds up on his phone. The guards are getting themselves, I'm going to repeat, they're getting themselves in trouble for allowing him to use the phone. It's not me, not ratting on any guards. They're the ones responsible for him. They have families to feed. He's getting his own guards in trouble. Because they're the ones that are babysitting him. Do you think they don't hear him yelling into that phone every single fucking day? I mean, who can't hear him? I'd probably hear him outside if I was passing by on the road. The guy don't know when to stop. I mean, this is like almost unprecedented. Certainly on YouTube it is. This is unprecedented. The ignorance with this man, it's unprecedented. Look up the word, Barry. Oh, a good one there, Mr. Educated. What was the word he was trying to use? And there was a word in his title. Let me refresh my memory here. Oh, maybe somebody can refresh me. He totally spelled the word completely wrong. I'm trying to think of what it was. I thought it was funny, and I had to do a title on my show correcting him on how to spell the word. Maybe you guys remember. I guess it wasn't that important to me, you know. Yeah. His level of education really shows. I mean, it really does. I mean, if I didn't know him and I didn't know what was going on, I'd hear about this guy that spent 22 months in a detention center. And, you know, the guy is so interested and freaked out about his situation and, you know, wants his freedom and wants to go home. But he'll continually come on his phone and do the same thing over and over again, which I'm saying over and over again. And you're probably getting tired of hearing that. And I'm getting tired of saying it. But it's true. I mean, when do you know when to stop? I mean, he mentioned something that makes some sense to me, believe it or not. In one of his last shows, he said, hey, I'm getting free electricity and rent. Ah, here's the thing. He doesn't want to wind up in a prison. He wants to stay there so his girlfriend could visit him a lot more easily. And unlike any living situation he's had, he's got free rent, free electricity, but, you know, he's never paid it anyway. He's always ran out on his landlords. It's not that he's a better situation. I mean, it probably is a better situation. I don't know. The dives I've seen him in, I mean, this has probably got to be a couple of steps up. I would think so anyway. For what I'm seeing there, you know. And he's so brave. He'd like to see me in the cell next to him. No, he wouldn't like to see me in the cell next. I assure you, he wouldn't like to have me as a cellmate next door. I assure you, he would not want that. He would not want that. He'd have to tell the guards to keep me locked up. Because one word from this fucking guy, I may lose it. I mean, I can't make no guarantees. I'm not a violent person, but I'll tell you what. He's pissed me off so far. And he has been talking about my girlfriend a lot. And he says he never talks about her. He says he never talks about her. He's always downing her, man. How many kids she has, and shouldn't be with me. That she's like my caretaker of an old man. That she's only with me for money. And he feels sorry for her having 8 fucking kids. You don't say that in the Philippines here. So what's wrong with her having 8 children? Yes, he did say besides him being able to go out, he's fine there. Yeah, but he's fine compared to an actual prison. He ain't going to be fine. All I can say is bring the lubricating oil is all I could tell him on that one. And his mouth is going to get him a lot of trouble in prison. See, he's isolated over there. And there's not many people in that structure, in that building. But when he gets put into a real prison, boy, he's going to be freaking out. If you think he's been having a nervous breakdown now, you ain't seen nothing yet. As they say in showbiz, we ain't seen nothing yet. Well, he ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah. Oh, he's got it good there, man. He's got it really good, and he knows it. Despite the caved-in ceilings, the water leakage, the mosquitoes, the hot and humid temperatures in there, the filth, the garbage, dogs coming in, cats coming in. Who knows? Maybe lice. Who knows what the hell is in there? He wants me as a cellmate, huh? He's going to kick everybody's ass too, and he started getting into that again. He's going to kick everybody's ass, no matter how big they are. He's going to kick everybody's ass. Oh, give me a break. One break, Barry. One break from this, you know. Really. Tough guy all the way through, huh? Tough guy. And who the fuck was saying comments on the show? Fucking Gigante, man. What a fucking fence jumper he is. Gigante used to be fairly friendly with me. He said, I met them, and Barry's definitely taller than him. Gigante, cut the bullshit, man. Barry's about 5'2". Oh, if you want to measure the curve in his back, I'd give him another inch and a half. Barry's about 5'2", soaking wet. Stephen says if he goes to real prison, he'll never make it in there. His big mouth will get him, and that's what I just said, yes. And boy, does he have a big mouth. So I sit back here and I listen to this stuff, and one of the reasons I play them on here is to make sure I don't lose anything. I keep it as a permanent record stored on here. So one of the easy ways of doing it, you just don't have the time. It's just, record this show on my other phone. I'm always going to have a thing, record it back on here. I mean, it's the way I do it. That's one of the ways anyway. This way he can't, erase anything he put on. It's going to be there for everybody to hear. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. So that's my security with that. Oh, I love when he does shows about me because, the evidence is adding up. And my attorney just told me tonight he's going to do something about. He's going to do something about Barry's phone situation. He knows how determined I am, and he knows exactly what's going on, my attorney. It was actually his partner, that I was talking to. He's going to look into that situation, toot sweet, probably on Monday. What would he do without that phone? He'd be lost. He'd be lost in space. Then he'll really go out of his mind. Don't keep any rope around there. Oh yeah, the baseball bat was given over to the guards kid or something like that. It's a baseball bat, dummy, he says. Yeah, a bat that could cause damage to somebody. A little tiny Louisville slugger or whatever it was. You're not supposed to have that kind of shit. You go, well, I got scissors in my room. I got some other things in my room. No, he probably shouldn't have any scissors. Don't put anything around that guy. He's not sane. But boy, he's going to get his ass kicked by somebody yet. He goes to prison, man. I can imagine that guy's going to be purple. He's going to be used as a goddamn punching bag because he can't shut his mouth. And he will show his frustration in a prison, and they're already frustrated in a prison, and they're hot, and it's humid, and they don't want to be there, and they're frustrated. Then he's going to come along. He's going to try to be one of the tough guys to try to fit in. Man, they'd be able to see through that honky so easily, like he's transparent. Yeah. Not if everybody has the same problem. Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, everybody's the same problem. I'm not sure what your reference point is on this. I'm just simply trying to say that I listened to him running his mouth, and it's such a famous statement on it. Running his mouth, we both say it. But in his case, it's a constant running. It's like the faucet will not turn off, and the water keeps on coming out. It's like non-stoppable. You keep on filling up the pails, but the water still comes out. And the shit and the sewage comes out of his fucking mouth. Well, now that we've established that he did not get married, because he slipped too many times, and also he slipped on the point that somebody made a comment on the show that said, yeah, he was, well, my girlfriend, she'll just come out to see me with a tourist visa. Well, if you're married, she's not going to need a tourist visa. Am I correct on this? Foiled again, Barry. Foiled again. Alibi. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. To be YouTube. Okay. I don't know who you are. Newbie on here. Probably some troll that I'm probably familiar with. Look at that. 32 watching, man. Yeah, I'm not going to be on too much terribly longer here. I'm expecting a call soon, or I got to make a call. But, yeah, I think he's probably going to have his phone taken away. At this time, I think it might actually happen because every agency knows about it, and this has been a big issue with me and my attorney, and he did write me on this. he said he's going to make sure that he's not going to be able to vlog again on YouTube and somehow get his phone taken away. And I think it'll maybe be a situation where if he needs to order food, they could do that for him, or only for that time, or something like that. But he's not going to be able to, have his phone. And if the guards keep on allowing him after this to do it, then the guards are going to get themselves in trouble, all on their own. None of my help, all on their own. Or actually, he's causing the problem himself. Stefan says, isn't she embarrassed that he is saying that they're married? Look, I don't know anything about that chick, okay? All I know is she put a goddamn report on me, and I'm not real happy about it. And she knows I'm not very happy about it. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say to that. I don't know. They're both screwed up in their own way. And by their own demonstration. I could say that. They're meant for each other. Let's put it that way. They're meant for each other. They sure are. Shit. If I was a woman, and I was the most desperate woman in the world, I still wouldn't be with him. So many good guys out there. So many good guys that have their shit together, They're not into crime. They've not been arrested. They didn't beat up their wife. They didn't take money from people. There's some really good guys out there. I don't understand why any woman at all would concentrate on a loser like this guy. I don't get it. I don't think I'm ever going to get it. He's pretty fucked up in every fucking way he could think of. And man, is he just fucking obsessed talking about men's penises all the time. I mean, I've been talking about that lately because he's so concentrated on telling, not just to me, but to other people, they could come and suck his dick. And I keep on saying, and I'm convinced that there's something to this. There's definitely something to this. Stefan says, isn't she embarrassed that he is saying that? Oh, okay, I read that already. 33 strong. Well, you know how it is in the Philippines. Women got to keep face and all that stuff. It's better to be with somebody like him rather than to break up with somebody, because it's just part of the culture, saving face and all that. We've talked about that on my show. It is part of the culture. I mean, it's not a bullshit lie. It's part of the culture out here. Women are kind of different than in America or Western countries. It's all about saving face. The culture is like that. Everybody wants to save face. It doesn't look good to someone's friends if a guy breaks up with her, they break up or something, and according to them, you kind of put in the formula their age, and they start to think that they're like an old spinster or something. I don't know. If you're not married or with a guy at 40 years old, then there's got to be something wrong with you, and that's what people generally think. So they want to save face with that. That's why a lot of the family didn't even know where he was, and they had to lie about it and say that he was over in the States again. That's why. It's part of the saving face, part of the culture. Even with the family. That's the way it works. Oh, I'm sure he'll be doing a show overnight, because he can't shut up. Like he said, you're not going to shut me up. That's fine, man. You will be shut up eventually, because your cell phone is going to be taken away from you, Jack, and probably pretty soon. I think this time it's going to happen. This time I think it's going to happen. And there might be some different departments that might want to talk to him, too. After all the trash and allegations he's made toward immigration, for example. I think there's some agencies that would probably like to talk to him. But hey, like I said, he's doing it all on his own. No sweat off my nuts. None at all. But with that being said, isn't this fun? Isn't this just a jolly old time? It gives drama to some people, like an ongoing soap opera. And people love this shit. But with him, they're just totally astonished. How could you have so many train wrecks without getting crippled, Stefan says he's accusing the Philippines government of illegal activities. Yes, he is. That's exactly what he's doing, Stefan. You hit it right on nail on the head. And they got copies of this. What they do with it is their business. This was sent out several times with several different complaints regarding exactly such. Everything about him hating cops, how murder is easy on the street in the Philippines. If they can't put this package together, if they can't figure out that if anybody's an undesirable, it's him, not me. If anybody's undesirable, it is him, with no questioning. Stefan says after a while, they're just going to get tired of listening to his mouth as well. They're probably going to get tired of listening to my mouth too. But as I said, when I start something, I finish it. There could be repercussions for me for bothering these people. But, hey, I'm doing something that is going to, help put them away properly and possibly even save my own ass. Like I said, a lot of times there's a method to my madness. There certainly is. Call me a madman if you want, but there's a method. Okay? And I think you know that to be true. Let him to keep on doing his shows. I'm all good with it. And he says, again, I'm going to mention about my girlfriend. She heard more of his shit. Well, you know where she is. And you might know what's going to be happening. Yeah, take a wild guess. And that's great. I needed more evidence. Always saying he doesn't talk about it, but he always does. He's knocking her all the time. You guys are witnesses. He's knocking her and mocking her and all the time. Everything from age to how many kids she has, or that she's not a good woman because she's with me, just downing her. I had enough of that, and she's had enough of that too. HJG, Barry's outward arrogance is fueled by his sense and knowledge of his inferiority to others. I would say so, yeah. Well, yeah, I've never seen arrogance like this in my life, really. Cockiness and arrogance. It's astounding. It wouldn't be something if he just gets off with a slap on his wrist. You never know. You just never know. Like I said, I'm very honest about everything. I'm not going to come on here and claim something that ain't true. Because I don't really know where this is going. I have a good idea where it's going, a very good idea, but I can't predict the future. But I think it looks pretty grim for him. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I gotta. Speaking of, I gotta get a hold of my girlfriend there. I just wanted to say that. You know something, guys? I'm really looking to the outcome. I'm really looking forward to the outcome of this. I'm really looking forward to the outcome. Oh, my girlfriend just wrote me to tell me good night and I love you. See that? See, that's a real relationship. That's a real relationship. She's not a tool to me, and I'm not a tool to her. But all we can do is wait this out. And, he's presenting, sensitive documents on his show, too, which is also sent to the proper agencies. It says right on there that it's illegal that this is a sensitive letter meant for his eyes only, not to be shared on YouTube. Not to be shared on YouTube and public media. There's not one thing he is doing right. There's not one damn thing he's doing right. I mean, it's great for me. Don't misunderstand me. It's great for me. It works for me. All I'm trying to express is I don't know what's the word. It's almost like this isn't real. I've never came across anybody like him. His lack of intelligence it's just showing. It's just glowing. It's a man who's, as I said, in some strange way, maybe it's his way of staying in the Philippines. He wants to stay in that place, so his girlfriend could visit him and stuff. I don't know. Free rent, it goes a long way. He's never paid his rent. Women are always paying his rent. Okay, I do gotta go. My girlfriend's a little more important than you guys. I'm sorry about that, but I came on, give you a little ditty. Go look at my other videos, formulate your own opinions, and tell me if you think the stupidest motherfucker that you've ever heard on YouTube or outside of YouTube. There is no question about it. There shouldn't be any thinking about it. This is a man that's constantly stabbing himself in his own ass with his own pitchfork. And I'll tell you what, I'm all for it. Good night, folks. You take care. Barry, you're a real winner, buddy. You're a real winner. Not.